Hello, Matt. Yeah, buddy. Hello, Matt, Marianne, Brandon, and Megan, and Bradley. I actually have to see pictures in my mind to come up with that. We wanted to show you the progress. We've got white lines remaining to put on the deck, and this piece that I'm holding in my hand actually goes on the front of the boat right here. And we discovered, as we were getting ready to put it on, that there's 2 extra holes in this, and evidently somebody had a bow eye on this, which is unnecessary and didn't come out of the factory that way. So we're going to have those welded up this morning, and then we'll grind them off and polish them. We've got all the stainless steel trim in place, and we've still got that little bit of paint to take off there. We have the sponsons in place, and we have, let's see, I guess we had those on the other day, but we didn't have them on tight. We pulled all the screws in tight yesterday, and let's see, we have installed the back seat frame, back seat bottom, back seat back, filler strips that go on either side of the back seat. Also, our floor panels are installed and the side panels are installed. And you'll see there's a piece of stainless steel trim right above this floor here for the front seat. There's a piece of stainless steel trim that we've also cut to shape and mitered the end so that it cut the length so that it covers that seam. That was original as well. We have the front kick panel in place. We have everything wired. We've got the throttle in place. Up here on the carburetor. This is not the correct carburetor for this engine. It is an automotive carburetor, in fact. It's a Holley. And what was originally on this was a Carter. It was specifically made for this engine and this boat. The good news is, Holley wants like $600. I'm sure you could probably get it for $400. The Carter is available down in Atlanta at one of my suppliers, and it would have to be rebuilt, but they have an airflow test bench, and they do great work. And that would be, I believe that's $600. I will have to go check. Greg told me the amount. I can't remember. So my thought was, rather than spend, even if you could get a Holley for $400, rather than spend $400 on the wrong carburetor, we should go and spend the right amount on the right carburetor. So this has a manual choke. If you did a Holley, you could get an electric choke on it. I don't like electric chokes because they will, every time you turn the key on, they engage the choke. So even after your engine's warmed up, it disengages right away, but even after your engine's warmed up, you would try to be starting it with the choke closed, and after your engine's warmed up, you don't need to do that. Let's see, is there any other things that we have... I've got a temperature sender and oil pressure sender, the correct ones on the way. These were $5/$10 substitutes, and we were trying to get the right ohms range, but anyway, we didn't. And the right ones were $75 a daggone piece, plus shipping. They are new old stock. They can't be found anywhere. And they're like the last ones on the face of the earth, apparently. So anyway, we got those here, and we're getting ready to. They've not been changed out. We're getting ready to install those. So close is close. So we have a windshield left to go on today. That we've actually got it partially assembled now, and running out of stuff to do. This bench over here where the seats are was completely littered the other day with all the parts that needed to go on, and this whole area from where you see the blankets on the floor, that's where the interior sat, and they extended all the way over to the gantries. This bin was full, and it's now pretty close to empty. There is, in this plastic bag, a road cover, some type of cover for the boat. I don't remember. I do remember it was in really crappy condition, and I do remember that Marianne asked me if there would be one of those, if a cover could be made. We'll pull this guy out, look at the condition of it, and let you know. Hey, Cody, while I'm talking on this video, pull that plastic bag out that's got the cover in it, and let's just lay that cover out real quick. Lay it out on these blankets. So while I'm, here's the center bracket for the windshield. It's anodized, and of course the rest of the windshield bracket has been, the anodizing is gone, and we've buffed it to silver luster, so this will have to happen to this center bracket as well. And so all we have left over here, we've got some angles that were made out of aluminum to reinforce the engine box when the engine box was falling apart. Those were done by somebody else, and they aren't necessary. We have and they weren't original, and they're not necessary. We'll hang on to them in case somebody decides to tell us they were original, but I do not believe they were. These are the step pads that go on. The step pads that actually came with the boat were the wrong frames. The wood has to be sanded and stained and sealed. We don't varnish the wood, otherwise it becomes too slick. We have also on this table, we have the cheek ball that goes on the end of the flagpole. The flagpole is getting drilled for a flag. We've got an American flag and a burgee on the way. The front flagpole gets a burgee. The American flag goes, of course, on the back. We have the nameplate to mount. CUF-20. This is hull number 7 out of 15, built in Cadillac, Michigan. And we've got this trim to put on. It's all polished up and ready to put on the seats. It goes right here on top of the seats and around the seats. So we've got another half a day's work with the two of us at least. Got a few holes. We got a rip. But this would make, and it looks like, and I know, I do remember taking this to the laundromat and using the big machine once upon a time, but it looks like we've got some mildew stains that won't come out because they didn't come out in the laundromat. So if you wanted a cover, a custom cover, this would probably make an excellent pattern. We got a hem that's out here. This would probably make an excellent pattern, but probably not going to do much beyond that. If you want a cover, we need to talk about what you want. If you want a road cover or a mooring cover, and maybe we can kind of make a combination of both. And if not, then that's an easy discussion. You just say no. I do know we've had some custom covers made, and they run about $1,500 for a boat this size. So, like I say, just let us know if you want us to look into that for you. And we've got a local guy that does that. He comes over to his shop's about a mile and a half away, and he comes over and does most of the work right in our shop. So anyhow, another thing we discovered, you might have noticed these ventilators that were on earlier are back off. You could look up inside the ventilator, and we had different colors. We had the gray bilge paint, we had some white. So we've just turned those white yesterday. We'll be putting those ventilators back on, and so just want to give you a look at the inside of the boat. As I said, we're getting real close. I've got a horn to install underneath the dash as well, and then the Hydem came in. The material for the Hydem came in. When did that material come in? Yesterday? Day before yesterday. And our normal upholsterer couldn't sew the Hydem, so we're going to take it to another shop here in town that has the foots and so forth needed to sew the Hydem. So anyway, foots being for their machine, the sewing machine. So we got a carburetor issue that we need to resolve, and we have and the reason I bring that up is fast idle cam was not the problem at the boat ramp. We were unable to actually lower the idle enough. And Holly tells us that it's in part because this is an automotive carburetor, that the idle speed would be set to a curb idle of about 750 with it in gear. And so even with this in gear, we probably would not be able to bring the idle speed down on this automotive carburetor because you've got a propeller. There's not near as much drag on the propeller as there would be in the water as there would be on a car with the transmission engaged and the brake set. So that's part of the issue. He didn't think we'd be able to ever get the idle set down to where it needs to be. Now, you guys have a lot of experience with that, but I was talking to Holly's technical people in Bowling Green, and he thought there was a safety issue with it. They thought if you got stopped by the Coast Guard or the law enforcement, I don't think our law enforcement on our lake is going to be savvy enough to figure out whether or not you've got a marine carburetor. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure it would be savvy enough on any lake to figure out if you got a marine carburetor, and I hope there's no law enforcement people listening to this. But the other problem we're having with this carburetor is the choke is being held up by the flame arrestor. The flame arrestor is upside down. There's actually an interference between the flame arrestor and the choke. So if we were to work on replacing the flame arrestor, those things run $50 plus shipping. So all in all, I think we just need to get the right carburetor. Okay. That's all I got. That's the progress. And like I say, issues, carburetor. Then do you want a cover? And because we can put that into motion for you if you do. And we just got to get this guy fixed. That stainless welded up. All right, later.